Welcome to E-Train's Wicked Good Picks. Remember, these picks aren't these picks aren't slightly above average. These picks are wicked good. So, this episode, we're going to go into NFL Week 11, handicapping, and our thoughts. These aren't the bets. This is just what I'm thinking about each game, me going down the board, what's going through my head, what bets I might make. These aren't bets I am actually placing. I don't recommend you actually place these bets. I do recommend you like, subscribe, comment, share this video with your friends. If you have a friend that gambles in the DraftKings or FanDuel app and has no idea what they're doing, share this video with them. Maybe I can make them some money or make them slightly smarter as a better. Who knows? Let's make money together. So, I'm not going to talk about the Thursday Night Football because that's going on live as I'm recording this. So let's jump right into the Sunday 1 o'clock games. We've got the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Carolina to face the Panthers. In this game, I really like the Bryce Young attempts over 34.5. I think Dallas might get up quickly. I also like any CeeDee Lamb prop. CeeDee Lamb is balling right now. I really think Carolina's offense is rough. I don't think they get off to good starts. I don't think Bryce Young is very ready for the NFL, but I also think that they might get down so early and have to work their way down the field that he's going to throw the ball more than 35 times. I also like the Dallas team over 27.5. This Carolina has let a ton of teams go over this number, and Dallas seems to beat up and run up the score against teams they're better than. They don't seem to take their foot off the gas like the Giants, the Patriots, etc. They've just blown them out and continued to blow them out. So I think that could happen here. The next game up is the Vegas Raiders traveling to Miami to face the Dolphins. This is a very one-sided affair, I think. Miami has so much more firepower. They're coming off a loss. They're coming off a bye. Vegas is a West Coast team playing on the East Coast at 1 o'clock. There's so many reasons to like Miami. It's 13.5. That's a lot. So I don't necessarily jump right to that. But I do like the Vegas Raiders under 16.5. After watching this team the last 2 weeks play against the Jets and Giants, they really struggle to punch the ball in the end zone. I mean, they have Aiden O'Connell as their quarterback. Can't really blame them, but I believe that's a good bet of under 16.5. I doubt this team gets to 17. I also, sneaky prop that might be fun is Tua over 3.5 rushing yards. I think 1/3 down where he runs, he could soar over this. And I always love those props that you can clear in one play easily, where you could be at 0 yards for the entire game, and then one drive in the fourth quarter, he does a 6-yard scamper, and you cash the ticket, which is always kind of a fun prop to have. The next game up is Chicago going to Detroit to face the Lions. This is one of the simpler handicaps of the week to me. I think Chicago just blatantly isn't as good a team as Detroit. I think if you look at their stats, their running attack isn't good. Their run defense, their passing attack, their pass defense, their turnovers, everything looks at Detroit. Detroit's at home. I think Detroit's defense is going to be in a a get right spot. They gave up 38 points to the Chargers, and I think all week in practice they're going to really work on that defensive side of the ball. So I like Chicago's under 19.5 points. Those are two bets I really like in that game. The next game up is Arizona traveling to Houston. Now, Arizona this year has not been great on the road, and Kyler Murray historically has been better at home than the road. So I like Houston here. The Houston D has some tricky injuries. I have to keep an eye on that to make sure, because if your front seven is hurt against a running quarterback, that's never great. That's something to monitor. I also like Marcus Stroud. I don't think the books have caught up to his passing props yet, where you can get plus 100s, you can get plus money perfectly straight up for plus 275 passing yards, which I think the way he's been slinging it lately, over 275 against the Arizona defense, seems like a gift right now. The next game up is the New York Football Giants traveling to Washington to play the Commanders. This is, you'll see this as the games go on, as I go through the games. There's a lot of divisional games with very strong historical trends. I love these. It usually is beyond the quarterbacks or head coaches. It's just a institutional losing or winning against certain teams. And the Giants historically own the Commanders. They beat them earlier this year. They consistently cover the spread, even when they do lose. So I really like the fact that you're getting them plus 8.5 here. I think over a touchdown in any divisional game is almost always going to take the points on that one. So I like that one. Also, a great little prop I saw was Dexter Lawrence over 0.25 sacks. So, excuse me, a quarter sack. So if he gets a half sack or a full sack, you cash this ticket. He had 2 sacks in the first meeting and 4 quarterback hits. So I think it's very likely he sacks Sam Howell this game. Sam Howell is also the most sacked quarterback in the league. So that's a nice little sneaky prop. The next game up is Tennessee traveling to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. This is another game, very strong historical trends. In the past 15 games, Tennessee is 11-4 straight up. Not even against the spread, just straight up. So I think you're going to give them a touchdown. Also, Jacksonville is historically not great as a home favorite of 7 or more. So I like Tennessee plus 7 on that one. The next game up is Chargers at Green Bay. This one's very, very tricky to me because I think Green Bay is really, really bad, but I also think Brandon Staley is a horrible coach, and it's hard for me to bet on an LA team traveling to Lambeau Field in what could be a cold weather game. I have to check the weather report, but it is November, so it's going to be much colder than LA, that's for sure. So the way I'm looking at that one though is the Chargers first half. The Chargers could puke this game away in the second half. Brandon Staley is historically a horrendous choke coach. I think that the Packers consistently get off to slow offensive starts. So I think minus 2.5 in the first half for the Chargers is a great play. The next game up is Pittsburgh at Cleveland. So this game is hilarious. The over-under is 33 right now, which is just like, is this a Big Ten game? It's awesome. I love it. That's sketchy. I still kind of lean toward the under. The Browns are starting Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who has only had 1 start this year, and he played horrible. He probably played better than that game, but I really like Cleveland under 16.5 points. This Pittsburgh team is crazy. They consistently play close games, so it's really hard to lay points at them. Maybe the money line. Or, I'm sorry, they're the favorite. It's going to be close. I don't know, but I like Cleveland under 16.5. On to the 4 o'clock games. But before, once again, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. What are your thoughts? When you look at the board this week, what's the first thing that comes to your head? So, on to the 4 o'clock games. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. This is a tricky one because the Niners have a look-ahead spot to Seattle. So a Tampa Bay game, they could very possibly overlook this opponent. They could have come out of the bye, focused on the Jaguars, overlook the Buccaneers, and look to Seattle. So I don't like how big a spread this is. Also, if you look at Baker Mayfield's stats, this is probably his best statistical year. And that's not saying a lot, but still, he's playing pretty good. But it's also tricky because San Francisco has such a strong home field advantage. If you look at their home-away splits, their offense, and especially Brock Purdy, plays so much better at home. So I like the 49ers to win both halves. You can get that at minus 120. I don't think they win by double digits, but they might edge them out in the first half, edge them out in the second half, and come out with a win. The next game up is Seattle traveling to LA to face the Rams. Quite simply, I don't understand why Seattle is favored. I know it's only a point, but I like the Rams money line at minus 105. Another divisional game with very strong history where the Rams are 9-1 against the spread in the last 10 games, which is very strong. And all 10 of those games have been McVay and Carroll. So that tells you that McVay has a very strong coaching advantage over Pete Carroll. And the Rams are coming off a bye. They're playing at home. They won the first game by 30-13. So I really love the Rams this week. The next game up in the last of the 4 o'clock games is the New York Jets traveling within the state, just a little to the west, to Buffalo to play the Bills. The Bills are playing horrible right now. Josh Allen has thrown an interception in 6 straight games. I think it's hilarious. His under point, so for him to not throw an interception under 0.5 is plus 124, which if you look around the league might be the best interception money for under 0.5, which is hilarious. I'm not touching it though, because Josh Allen has historically struggled against the Jets defense. I actually really like, they're coming off Monday Night Football. The Bills are on a short week. I really like Stephon Diggs under 73.5 yards. I know he has only cleared this total one of the last 4 games, and it was 86 yards. So he hasn't broken 104 plus games. I think the Jets can keep him under. On to the night primetime games. On Sunday Night Football, we've got Minnesota Vikings versus the Denver Broncos. These teams have 2 very sneaky defenses that are also, don't look now, on winning streaks. Denver's won 3 in a row, and Minnesota's won 5 in a row, which is kind of crazy. But Minnesota's offense is so banged up. It seems like all their weapons are hurt. They're on their 3rd string quarterback, and Denver's defense is playing really well. Minnesota's defense is sneakily playing well as well. So I like the under 43 in this game. I think that's the best way to look at this game. And the final game of the week, the best for last. The schedule makers really tailor-made this game where we have a Super Bowl rematch in the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. This is a rematch. It could be a Super Bowl preview where these 2 teams are both looking like the best team in their respective conference. They're both off a bye, so the schedule makers clearly made this Monday Night Football game juicy. They said these are going to be 2 healthy teams going at it. Love it. We're winning. Finally, some good primetime games this week. Holy smokes, we had some really bad ones. Comment, what's the worst primetime game this year? I can think of a couple real snooze fests. Maybe the 19-8 Chiefs Broncos game. That was horrendous because I want to say there was 7 points in the very first minute of that game, and there was nothing. It was horrible. Anyway, I like Kelsey props in this. The Eagles are really bad against tight end. They got scorched by Kelsey in the Super Bowl. I think Taylor Swift will be in the box cheering her man on. I think Kelsey over 73.5 yards is a great prop. That concludes this episode of E-Train's Wicked Good Picks. Don't forget, these picks are wicked good.